Hello and welcome to the show. Now, when you're looking for that perfect home to live in and then you find it, it's possibly going to be one of the biggest purchases of your life.
That's right, Dion. And we've both fallen in love with houses in the past, but it's important not to let your heart rule your head.
Yes. Best place to start is probably your local property auction.
The excitement of a property auction is pretty hard to beat. Even after all this time, we love it.
Yes, let's see what's on offer on today's show.
In this London three-bed flat, Jacqui finds the most unusual set of windows.
Now this is very strange.
From bright and light to dark and damp, this Macclesfield flat has a surprise for Dion.
Wow. Cellar space as well.
And in Aylesbury, someone's already started work in this mid-terrace property.
Someone's brought the bins in. Ta-da!
All these properties have been sold at auction, and we'll find out who bought them and what they paid for them when they went under the hammer.
You bought it? Well done, thank you.
We're in Vauxhall, a district of South London adjacent to the River Thames. It's enjoyed a significant surge in popularity in recent years due to the regeneration of housing and a boom in new cafes, restaurants and bars. The added bonus of excellent transport links makes this a great location to pick up an auction property.
Well, this is a great central Vauxhall spot. You've got the park around the corner, just a few minutes walk to the station, and the riverside is less than half a mile away. Yes, it is very noisy, lots of passing traffic, but hey, you can't have it all. And I'm here to see a three-bed flat that had a guide price of £425,000 plus. And it's in this rather attractive building. I like the look of it. It is on the 3rd floor, so I'm going to head in and head up, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that there's a lift. Nice spacious communal area. There's no lift. It's the stairs for me.
You would soon see an increase in stamina going up and down all these stairs every day.
I've made it. OK. So, into the hallway. Not a bad size, but actually, it feels really dark. And I suppose that's because of the decor. You've got this sort of mock flocked wallpaper. And I think if you had a lighter colour, that would brighten up the whole space. And then you've got that cupboard on the top there. I don't know who's going to reach that. So, you've got a bedroom to the front there, decent size. Second bedroom here, again, not a bad size, nice high ceilings. And then this bedroom, very blue. But what I do love is all of the sort of character features. So you've got some coving, you've got picture rails. There is central heating, which is a bonus, but definitely get it checked out. And then, ooh, very Gothic-looking bathroom. Gosh, yeah. Decent size, though. You've got the living room there. I'll come back to that in a moment. But straight through into the kitchen. And again, it's not a bad size. It's not the largest kitchen, but it's decent enough. Nice high ceilings, good light coming through the windows there. Definitely get that boiler checked out or replaced. But if you stripped it all out and created a modern, fresh, sleek kitchen, this would be perfect. So, into the living room, and it's not a bad size, actually. Nice high ceilings, and I love the fact that the original features continue with the coving and the dado rails. One thing I have noticed is all the light sockets are all a bit different. definitely get your electrics checked out. And the other thing is most of the rooms seem to have a fireplace. I would see what's there. Maybe you could make a feature of it. But you can imagine if this room was stripped back, redecorated, it would be a really nice space. Now, this is very strange. I don't know why it's there. I suppose maybe for secondary glazing, but I don't think you really need it because not only does it eat into the room, but you've also lost valuable shelving as well. But there's a bonus. Look at this. A little balcony. Yes, it's small, but you know what? It's an outside space. You can have a coffee out here, watch the world go by. You can certainly see all the trains going by. I like this.
And I watch my world go by. Let me go. Somebody help me.
The balcony is a great addition, but this flat also comes with a potential problem.
Now, in the legal documents, the ground rent wasn't specified. It simply said it's to be mutually agreed by both parties. The issue with this is that a mortgage lender will insist on a defined ground rent, making this property unmortgageable and thus limiting its market to cash buyers only.
The unknown ground rent is a little concerning. My advice would be to try and define the ground rent with the leaseholder ASAP, but that can sometimes be tricky. On a lighter note, not only do you have your own balcony, but there's also a large communal courtyard to enjoy. Overall, I'm impressed. But enough of what I think. Time to hear from a local estate agent to find out their opinions on this flat and what would be best to do with it.
Positioned on the third floor of this building is a lovely, large three-bedroom flat consisting of 3 double bedrooms, a large living room with a balcony with great city views. It needs a thorough refurbishment throughout, so it would need a modern, well-equipped kitchen, modern bathroom with contemporary fittings. The bedrooms would have to be totally replastered with new flooring, be it solid floors or soft furnishings. It needs everything done. There's no doubt about that. There's a considerable job required here, but the end product is sure to be stunning, attractive, and attract a lot of interest given its position in much sought-after Vauxhall.
The agent thinks there's not much to be gained from any layout changes here, but the windows in the property may need to be replaced. You're going to need a considerably large budget to bring this flat back up to scratch. But once the work's done, what could the potential returns be?
Once renovated, this property would sell for £895,000. If rented, it would achieve £2,950 per calendar month.
Well, I think this is a great flat in a great location, and once the renovations are complete, this could make a great home for someone. However, it doesn't come without its issues. That ground rent situation really concerns me, so I do hope whoever has bought this flat has taken that into consideration. Well, let's find out who that was when it went under the hammer.
This lot was sold at an online auction.
Sold to you guys.
The successful bid of £417,500 was made by Joseph, who owns his own estate and lettings agency in London. He certainly has plenty of experience with property. Let's find out if he's looking forward to taking on this new project.
Well, Joseph, it's lovely to meet you, and congratulations on this flat.
Thank you very much indeed.
Why this flat in particular?
Well, it was one of 2 auction lots that came available.
2?
Yes, indeed. There's 2 in the same building,
Right.
and I couldn't really help but be attracted by it just because of the location, and my business operates just very, very, very close by it as well. So I know the area and I've worked around here for 15 years, and it was, yeah, kept on nagging at me in the evenings, kept on thinking about it again and again and again, and in the end. Registered myself for the auction, really just out of curiosity, honestly, more than anything else.
Yeah.
But with a set price for either of the 2 properties, or maybe both of them together, and the pricing became so attractive, I just couldn't couldn't resist.
Yeah, because it is such a great location. I mean,
Yeah.
everything's like on your doorstep, isn't it?
No, absolutely. This is not me looking in terms of my business, but actually looking in terms of my family and for us later on in life as a source of extra income later on, something for my children, but mainly for now, actually, because of the location of the building, and to try and bring them back to the sort of quality of property that you expect in the area and provide rental accommodation for a lot of the people that work nearby that have been priced out by some of the new build properties as well.
So the plan is to rent?
Yes, absolutely. There's no intention to...
Sell
It
on.
sounds like a slightly odd thing to say, but there's no intention to actually make any money out of this. You know, I look at it as something which then is going to stand the test of time a little bit as well. And in terms of the way that we're renovating both at the first property I purchased and this one as well, they are being done very sympathetically.
Oh, I'm not surprised. Yeah, I mean, it is quite incredible that, you know, to have your eye on this block and then have to secure 2 properties. That's amazing. So tell me about what it's going to look like aesthetically. What are your plans? What's the design going to look like? What are the colours going to look like?
We're actually doing the 2 properties the same. Simple oak flooring, polished pebble walls, white architraves and door frames. The doors are going to be in an oak as well.
Lovely.
And then with black handle finishes actually everywhere, which seems to be quite
Nice,
stylish at the moment, but from a practical point of view as well. So it is very straightforward, nothing perhaps overly personal, which...
So it's going to be clean lines, modern, hard-wearing,
Yes.
you know, very crisp.
Yes, indeed. And as I said, but one of the interesting things will be what to do with the arches
Please tell me
here.
you're not going to keep that, Joseph.
No, I'm not going to. It does actually... when
Don't say
at first, my builder thought it was stained glass, and then I peeled a section of it back, and it turns out it's a sticker.
It's a sticker.
The same as above the door here as well, actually.
Joseph has a team of builders who will come in and carry out all of the renovation work, and he's confident that everything will go to plan. Joseph was able to rectify the issue with the unknown ground rent by speaking to the freeholder and agreeing on a figure. So there's nothing stopping Joseph now.
So the work sounds great. Strip everything back, take everything away, new in.
Yeah.
It's going to be bright, sparkly and fabulous. How long is that going to take you?
We anticipate 4 weeks maximum.
4 weeks?
4 weeks maximum for that. The team is between...
I don't know why I sound surprised.
Well, the team is anywhere between 5 and 8 people that are working working on site here.
And then what about money? What's the budget there for this flat?
I anticipate this is, in terms of the actual building work itself, I've been told it's going to be about 12,000. So when they've told me it's 12,000, so I think 15.
Right.
And then when I think 15, I think budget for 20.
There you are. Well, I am so looking forward to seeing this done in 4 weeks.
Yes.
Best of luck and congratulations once again.
Thank you very much, Jacqui. Pleasure. Thank you. Well, Joseph has had his eye on this building for some time, and it's great that he's managed to secure not 1, but 2 flats in this block. Now, the good thing about that also is with his experience, he's managed to sort out that ground rent issue, which is perfect. The only thing I'm worried about is the timescale. There's a lot of work to do here. Will he really get it all done in 4 weeks? You can find out later in the programme.
We're in Macclesfield in Cheshire, just 21 miles from Manchester city centre. In 2018, Macclesfield was named the happiest place to live in the northwest of England. We're here to see this terraced Grade 2 listed building. Whoever buys this one will be getting their hands on a bit of history.
So the property I'm here to see today isn't your run-of-the-mill project. I'll explain that gag later. Here it is. It's got 2 beds and it's over 2 floors. Had a guide price of £97,000 when it went to auction. We are in Macclesfield and the train station is not too far in that direction. So if you do need to commute, this could be the property for you. Let's take a look. Very nice. Nice and bright as you come into the hallway. I can see the stairs that are obviously going to lead me to the bedrooms. First reception room, up a little bit of a step, and this is your front room. I can see textured wall above the fireplace. For me, they would have to come out, but it does feel kind of bright and airy. I do like it. Not a bad start. Okay, round into the second reception room, and the carpet has been pulled back. Maybe there's a few loose floorboards. Yeah, maybe they wanted to check out the floorboards underneath the carpet, but I can see more textured ceilings and more textured walls. But there is a nice big radiator here, which is good. There's a nice big window as well. And you know what? I do like the way that it just flows around the corner. There's no door there, so it does feel nice and open and airy and spacious. Just how Mr. Dublin likes it. Okay, bit of storage maybe? No, it's not. Wow, we have got a cellar. More space, that is a bonus. I'll have a look at that in a little while. Now, as I walk into this galley kitchen, it's in good condition, pretty much like the rest of this property. It doesn't feel like there's a lot wrong with it. I can't see there's a little bit of stain in here, might be a bit of damp, but there's no major issues at all that are worrying me. Look at the boiler. It looks pretty new, but always get it checked out by the pros first. I can see there's a downstairs toilet as well. This property so far seems to be ticking all the boxes, and it means you wouldn't have to spend too much money on it, which puts a smile on my face.
This property was actually part of a silk throwing mill in the 1840s, so let's hope there's no looming problems here.
Yeah, it makes me smile. Yeah, it makes me smile.
This property could go straight onto the rental market with very little work needed. The front reception may be a little snug, but having two of them certainly makes up for that. Is there anything upstairs that will catch Dion's eye?
Nice and bright up here as well. Here's one of your bedrooms, bit of textured ceilings. You can see a fitted wardrobe and dressing table there. You might want to put a new one in, a bit more modern. You've got an area here. You could put a wardrobe in here as well if you need storage. Maybe an airing cupboard. Maybe you could create a seat there, do a bit of reading. And I can see the family bathroom, which, if you're renting, you could keep as is. But I would want to change the bathroom, put a brand new suite in there. I know I've said it, I found something I want to change. And then you're into the front bedroom, which is at the front of the property, and it's pretty much a mirror image of the bedroom through there. I can see there's the same wardrobe and the same dressing table. They are a bit dated, so probably change them. The other thing I need to tell you about is it comes with a flying freehold, which means mortgage companies might not want to lend against a property with a flying freehold. So look into it, do your research. Read the legal pack, please.
A flying freehold is part of a property that overhangs another person's property. In this case, the top floor overhangs a shared alleyway.
So there's a little bit of outside space, a little bit of yard space, maybe squeeze a shed in the corner there for your bikes, bit of storage, always handy. Now, it's a Grade 2 listed building. If you want to make any changes or major changes to this place, you're going to have to speak to the local authority, and they will tell you what you can and can't do. That might change your decision on whether you take this project on or not. So one more time, just for the record, read the legal pack, please.
This is a great opportunity for someone on a budget, as this house has no major problems. But we're not finished yet. Dion has saved the best for last.
Wow. Cellar space as well. And a good size cellar. Don't forget, we are below a terrace house, and you've got two more extra rooms. Yes, I can smell damp, I can feel damp, and I can actually see damp as well. So yes, you might have to tank it out, but just think of the extra space, extra storage. This is definitely a bonus.
Time to consult a local expert from the auction house that sold the property to see what she makes of this mid-terrace, which had a guide price of £97,000.
Great spot here. We're on the mainline train link, so getting into Manchester city centre or down to London is really, really easy. It's a popular town for families. We've got some great local schools in the area, and we're surrounded by some beautiful countryside. So overall, the property doesn't appear to be in too bad condition. There is a few signs of damp, especially to the kitchen area, which we'd suggest gets checked out. And obviously your electrics and gas checks would need to be done. Overall, I would say the property is in need of some redecoration, replacing the flooring and perhaps a new bathroom as well.
Not a lot of work needed, so what would the figure be if put on the rental market?
So once renovated, I would expect this property to achieve £695 per calendar month on the rental market.
Considering the guide price of £97,000, once brought up to spec, what sort of sale price could you achieve?
Once renovated, on the sales market, I would expect this property to achieve £155,000.
So this is a bit of a rare one for homes under the hammer. There's not a lot of work that needs to be done in there. I don't think it'll take much time or much energy to get this place ready for the rental or the sales market. But remember, this is a Grade 2 listed property. Whatever you want to do inside or outside is gonna need some permission of some sort. So make sure you know what you're taking on. Let's find out who wanted to do just that when he went under the hammer.
This lot was sold at an internet auction with bids made online and by phone.
You bought it, well done, thank you.
But for £107,000, the successful bidder was Ross. This is going to be his first investment property. Dion caught up with him to find out his plans for this Grade 2 listed building and to see if he had any concerns over the flying freehold.
Ross, nice to meet you.
Hi Dion, how are you?
All good, all good. You happy with your purchase?
I'm extremely happy with the purchase.
Have you started and finished this place already? What's going on?
No, not at all. Just about to strip the place. Builders are in next week and strip all the walls, strip the kitchens, strip the bathrooms, strip all the carpets out and get cracking.
So all of this is coming out? You're starting everything again?
We're starting everything again, yeah. So starting afresh, budget about 15, 20,000.
OK, so 15 to 20 grand is your budget.
Yeah.
How long is it going to take to turn this place around?
But ideally about 3 months.
3 months, done and dusted, 15, 20 grand.
Yeah.
Been doing your research on what kind of yield you're going to get on this one, do you think, per calendar month?
So I'm aiming at sort of between 700 and 750. I mean, the property's historically been rented at 625. So if I can push 700 then on the refresh, then it's happy days for me.
Absolutely. Who's going to do this? Who's going to do the work on this place? And is it you or you?
I've got my interior designer that works with me in a commercial property company. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to design the place. And then I've got plenty of friends that are in the trade to come in and help me out. So
okay.
Starting next week.
What about family? Any family involved?
I'm going to try and get my sons in on a Saturday, minimum wage, strip some wallpapers, keep them out of mischief, and take it from there.
We'll give them a name check. You're on TV.
Benjamin, Ollie, and Ava.
Fantastic. Yeah. And they'll come down and give you a bit of a...
They'll come down and help me out.
Which is great as well, isn't it? You know, get your kids involved as well. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, good on you.
It's always great when the whole family gets involved. But what drew Ross to this property, and does he foresee any problems with the project?
I liked this property because of the Grade 2 listed front of the building. But yeah, it's not too much of a concern for me internally in terms of the works I'm going to be doing. And then the flying freehold, I again see that as an opportunity in the future. I've purchased this as an asset as pretty much a 2-bed terrace with potential to purchase the flying freehold at a later date down the line. And
you've also got some cellar space. Have you got any plans for that? Are you going to leave it for now?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it for now in terms of the rental market, but in the future, when I'm sort of looking at developing and maybe buying in the flying freehold, convert the cellars, do a cinema room, and sort of hopefully maximise the profit in the overall building.
Good luck. I don't know how it's going to work out. I'm pretty sure that you're going to smash it, especially with that 15, 20 grand budget. Can't wait to see it finished. Good luck to you.
Positive vibes.
Absolutely. Good on.
Thanks.
Now, there's a very chilled-out property developer. Ross has got £15,000 to £20,000 in the budget to spend on this place. You can rent it out as it is. He wants to take it to a new level, which can only be good news for the tenant that's lucky enough to get in this place. You can find out how he gets on and what it's going to look like later in the programme.
Still to come, has the buyer of this Aylesbury property bitten off more than he can chew?
Is this kind of like the biggest project you've taken on?
100%, yeah.
And in Macclesfield, Ross couldn't have done it without his children.
Kids came in, hit some sticks on the walls, and that's about it.
Back now to Vauxhall in southwest London and a 3-bedroom flat that Jacqui saw in a rather elegant building. The only issue was...
There's no lift. It's the stairs for me.
And the flat up for auction was on the 3rd floor.
I've made it. OK.
And once you made it up the stairs, the effort might not have been worth it, considering the state of the flat. But it certainly was for the views.
Look at this. A little balcony. Yes, it's small, but you know what? It's an outside space. You can have a coffee out here, watch the world go by. You can certainly see all the trains going by. I like this.
OK, so it might have been a view mainly of trains, but any outside space in a London flat is a bonus. And actually, there was something quite appealing about this flat, and it wasn't just the wallpaper. And for £417,500, local estate and lettings agency owner Joseph found himself drawn to it.
Kept on nagging at me in the evenings, kept on thinking about it again and again and again, and in the end, registered myself for the auction, really just out of curiosity, honestly, more than anything else.
Yeah.
And the pricing became so attractive, I just couldn't resist.
And Joseph hadn't just been unable to resist buying this flat, he'd also bought another one in the same building. He hoped his building team could turn it around and get it ready to rent in just 4 weeks. And he had a budget of £15,000 to £20,000 to get the refurbishment done. Now 11 weeks on and we're back. Looking good so far. So where did this refurb journey begin?
Firstly, stripped out all of the items that were here. We discovered a window in the master bedroom that had previously been boarded over by the previous tenants.
So now, having seen the light of day, all 3 bedrooms are bright and fresh. And the bathroom is crisp and modern. But was it all straightforward?
The difficulty really came with the volume of things that were here, and actually getting them up and down at Mansion Block with relatively tight stairs actually presented quite a challenge for the build team. And in terms of one of the other challenges here was the gas and electric were cut off, and so we had to speak with the power and the gas companies, get them to come to reopen up their supply to here. So that's quite challenging at the beginning to operate with no electricity, of course, and to be with the builders operating on battery packs alone.
So a tricky start, but once they did power themselves up, this project was completed in just 6 weeks. And that was not a moment too soon.
We'd already had tenants secured for this a month before completion. So we had been working to a schedule, and up until 2 days ago, it really didn't look like it was going to be ready. But the build team were actually here until gone midnight last night. It's the final little touches that they've been finishing off. So I'm extremely happy that has happened. And of course, that we've got tenants moving in within 24 hours here means that it's not going to just sit here empty, that actually somebody's going to be able to now move in and enjoy it.
Well, that's fantastic. And his building team putting in the last-minute effort has paid dividends. But apart from stumping up the cash, what role did Joseph play in the process?
I come in. I try not to be too intrusive. They know exactly what they're doing. We've already created the product before, so it's a matter of creating it again. My role really is making sure that things arrive at the same time and to make sure that we've got the right amount of people at any time so that the project finishes on time.
Delays getting the electrics connected did delay the project, which really was out of Joseph's hands. However, the budget was very much under his control.
In terms of the budget, we set out £15,000 to £20,000 originally. The overall cost has been exactly that, £20,000.
£20,000 plus the £417,500 purchase price does mean an all-in-all cost for this three-bed flat of £437,500. So, was it money well spent? What does the agent that saw it last time think?
The current owner has undertaken an enormous renovation. This will easily meet the demands of modern living and is sure to impress. The standard finish is excellent throughout. No effort has been spared. The kitchen has adequate storage at eye and counter level. The paintwork is neutral and welcomes in buckets of natural light throughout the flat. It's really well done.
This has always been intended as a rental vehicle for Joseph, but has it been a wise investment of his £437,500?
In the current sales market, the property would sell for £895,000.
Wow, £895,000. That's extraordinary. He's more than doubled his money and could see an eye-watering £457,500 pre-tax profit. And what about the returns Joseph will see when he rents this three-bed flat out?
This property would rent for £2,750 per calendar month.
That's very accurate indeed. We have agreed that rental figure with the tenants that are moving in. In fact, that are moving in tomorrow.
That rental return equates to a yield of 7.5%. So, all in all, this has been a great investment. Property refurbs are a bit of a sideline for Joseph, away from his estate agent and lettings business. So, does he plan to continue with them?
I have genuinely enjoyed these projects as well, and it's something that I see us doing as a family more and more in the next decade or so. And also, of course, as a pension provision for my wife and I, because yes, this has certainly put a lot of grey hairs on my head doing these projects, and when I've got a lot more grey hair on my head, I'd like to not be working all the time.
This is our final property today. It's a mid-terraced house very close to the town centre of Aylesbury in Buckinghamshire.
I am loving all the characterful features, sash windows. Look at this tiled footpath. Brilliant. Now, it's currently arranged as 2 one-bedroom flats. The guide price, £225,000 to £250,000. Very interesting. Let's take a look inside. The door's quite smart, actually. You like that? OK, so into the communal hallway. Door leading up to the first floor, but I'm going to investigate the ground floor first. And straight away, you're into your living room. Not a bad size. Yes, it's a little bit yellow, let's put it that way, so full decoration is needed. But you've got the bay windows, and they're sashed windows, and they are double glazed. I like that. But look at this. The original features continue. This fireplace could be a rather grand feature. Someone's brought the bins in. Ta-da! And behind the bins, I can see there's a storage heater. So, of course, that's how this flat certainly is heated. But I can also see high skirting boards, which is really in keeping with the era of the property. So then through into this space. This is a bit awkward. No, that's really awkward. My goodness, that hallway is narrow and dark. I wonder... OK, could this entire wall come down? Then that means that hallway is incorporated into one big space, into the kitchen. That's, you know, the end of the hallway. But in this room, you've got your old cupboards there. You've got, again, a feature fireplace. Maybe investigate, still your storage heaters, but you do have double glazing that looks in good condition. All in all, everything needs to be stripped back. That wood chip wallpaper, the textured ceiling, strip it all back, and this could be okay, but this, I don't like. I mean, literally, that is how wide the hallway is. Oh, my goodness. It's a shame these can't go, and I've realised why. Because you would then lose the bedroom. Now I understand why they did that. But into not a bad-sized kitchen, quite bright as well. But when you think about that hallway, you have to have very slim appliances. That's probably why everything's really slim in here, because you're not going to get much through there. But you do have storage there, under the stairs, and then you've got storage here. You've got the original metal-framed windows. I like them, but you'd have to get that double glaze. Energy efficiency, keep your heat in. Leading out to a small courtyard. Always nice to have some outside space. And then through, you've got your shower room, a decent size, and kind of in keeping with the era of the property to have the bathroom off the kitchen. That's the ground floor done. Let's take a look at the first floor.
Not the best layout on the ground floor then, and that hallway isn't really fit for purpose. Perhaps there's a way to reconfigure and maximise the space in the kitchen and bathroom. The backyard also holds a lot of potential. With some imagination, it could be a lovely space. Time now to look upstairs.
So up to the first floor. Oh, wow. What a difference there is between downstairs and up here. Really bright. Someone's already started stripping down the wallpaper. And then into the small landing, you have got your bathroom there. Again, you need to sort out the windows. I can see signs of damp or mould, but I don't think that's anything to worry about because there's nothing sort of warping, so that could be superficial. And then into a bright but compact and bijou kitchen. Double glazing, which is great. But yeah, compact, but still bright. Wow, what a difference a lick of paint makes, because this first floor is so much brighter. So you've got your room, to my left there, original fireplace, you've got storage in there, nice high ceilings, and you've got double glazing. And then into this really generously sized room. Double aspect window, again, double glazed, sashed. And look at that, you look. This is the original fireplace. I wonder if the fireplaces downstairs that were boarded up, if you took out those boards, maybe they might reveal a lovely fireplace as well. But all in all, bright, fresh, and it feels really airy. If it were me, I know which flat I would want.
Yes, what a difference between the two.
Something different.
To get another opinion, we've asked along a local estate agent to find out what he thinks would be best to do with this property.
The flats are a great location. These would be very, very popular with anybody looking to rent. They obviously need quite a bit of work doing to them to get them up to spec. I would suspect that we'd need to look at the wiring as well as the heating situation and, of course, the decor. It's going to need a complete refurbishment.
The agent wouldn't rule out the option of transforming the property back into a three-bed family home, as there is a market for both options. But financially speaking, renting out two flats is likely to get you a better return. So how much could the property sell for?
I think the value of the property as two one-bedroom flats would be in the region of £160,000 for each flat, giving a total of £320,000. I think if it was as a three-bedroom house, you'd be looking at a renovation. The price would be somewhere in the region of £325,000.
And how would it do on the rental market?
The rental values for 2 one-bedroom flats in this location would be in the region of £750 for each property, giving a total of £1,500 per calendar month. I think as a 3-bedroom family home, it would certainly be in the region of £1,150 per calendar month.
Well, this property certainly requires plenty of work. In fact, it needs a total renovation. But you've already got 2 flats in place and in a great location of Aylesbury. So whoever grabbed this property would make a sound investment, especially if they got it anywhere near that guide price. Well, let's see who fancied it when it went under the hammer.
This lot was sold at a remote property auction with online bids only.
You're set.
The successful bid of £250,000 was made by Conrad, who works as a sales executive. He does have some experience with property, as this will be his 3rd project. Let's find out what he has planned for it.
Conrad, it's lovely to meet you, and congratulations.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
So how was the auction for you?
It was very good. It was good being online, to be honest. Not as interesting as in person, but I mean, still very interesting.
So why this property and why this area?
I've got a couple of properties in Aylesbury, so I've known it for sort of the last 5-6 years, and this one came up. I love Edwardian-looking houses, so I sort of fell in love with it, to be honest.
Yeah. And so do you know the area quite well, then?
Yeah, I only live sort of 20 minutes away, and I've got a couple of flats in the area, so I've always been in and around Aylesbury, so it's an area I know very well, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, this property is spot on where it is, isn't it?
Yeah, brilliant location, yeah.
Yeah, you got, I mean, literally everything's on your doorstep.
That's what I'm saying. It's, yeah, we can do whatever I want with it, to be honest.
There you go. And so what is the plan? Obviously, it was a house at one stage in its life, and it's now arranged as 2 one-bedroom flats. Are you going to keep it that way?
Probably going to keep it as 2 separate flats, just because it leaves the options a bit more. If I wanted to rent each one or if I wanted to sell each one, it leaves it open to do both, really.
Yeah, yeah. And then, what's your background? Is that what you do full-time, is property developing?
I do that part-time. I work as a car salesman day-to-day, just try and save up as much money to then put it into my passion, which is property.
Car sales? Have you always done car sales?
The last sort of probably 4 or 5 years.
So, OK, and will you give that up and stick more with property developing? What's your plan?
Over the next sort of 3 or 4 years, I'd like to do that, but I'm not quite there yet to drop the job and then go full-time yet, but a few years, hopefully.
Yeah. So what number property is this, then?
It'd be 3, this one.
So this is your 3rd?
Yeah, this will be the 3rd one.
And so is this kind of like the biggest project you've taken on?
100%, yeah. It's always been small flats, but then venturing into a house like this, it's very different.
Are you daunted by it?
Not really. It's nothing too overcomplicated here. It's more just time, elbow grease, and yeah.
Yeah. So talk me through the work that you're going to do here.
Well, to be honest, we're just going to go completely back to brick, rip everything out, remove kitchens, bathrooms, all tiling, just going to start from scratch, completely remove everything.
So get everything out.
Gut the whole place.
Wow, and then new in.
Yes.
Apart from the fireplaces.
Exactly, leave them. Nice feature.
Yes, please. And what about things like the windows? There's a couple of the windows that are old and metal framed, and obviously that's a lot of heat loss there, and the heating. What are your plans for that?
So in regards to the windows, I think there's 3 or 4 windows that have to be changed to double glaze and obviously just keep up with standards. In regards to the heating, we're going to put all new electric heaters in just because of the management side of it. If you decide to rent it, it's one less thing to worry about, I suppose.
Yeah. And so who's going to do the work?
People that I've used a few builders over the last sort of 3 or 4 years, and I trust them with all sort of work, so I'll be here hands-on, helping them out as much as possible, hopefully not getting in the way, but it'll be some builders.
So you've got your builders in place. How long is it going to take you, bearing in mind what you've just told me, gutting the whole place, stripping everything back to brick almost? What's your timescale?
Probably 6 weeks. I'm going for 6 weeks.
6 weeks. 6 weeks is quite ambitious, Conrad.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going off previous experience, what I've done before, just slightly bigger, so I'm going for 6 weeks. If it runs a little bit over, it's not the end of the world. OK, but not too much over. No.
And what about budget? What have you put aside for this?
I'm trying to stick to the 25 grand mark if I can. If it goes a little bit over, it's, like I said, it's not too much for trouble, but I'm going to try and stay below that 25 grand.
Right, so that's kind of going to be your limit that you want to stick to.
Putting 12.5 for each flat, that's the way I'm saying.
Right, OK. And so, straight away, you're gonna rent, you're going to...
Still undecided yet, depending on what they look like. If it comes to a really nice finish, I might test the market out, put it up for sale. If it doesn't get any interest, then I can rent it as well.
Yeah. Well, look, I wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you very much.
I cannot wait to see the end results.
Yeah, look forward to seeing it myself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Conrad has a few renovations under his belt, but this is his biggest project so far. It is quite ambitious with that 6-week timescale. I just hope there are no surprises along the way. Well, you can find out how Conrad gets on later in the show.
There's nothing like standing back in satisfaction when all the work on a property has finished.
We've seen how one of our buyers got on, but what about the other two? Let's find out.
We're back in Macclesfield, where we saw this Grade 2 listed terrace at a guide price of £97,000, and Dion had trouble finding anything wrong apart from a few wonky floorboards.
OK, round into the second reception room, and the carpet has been pulled back. Maybe there's a few loose floorboards. Yeah, maybe they wanted to check out the floorboards.
But he did eventually find something that needed doing.
And I can see the family bathroom, which, if you're renting, you could keep as is. But I would want to change the bathroom, put a brand new suite in there. I know I've said it, I found something I want to change.
Would buyer Ross feel the same way?
Have you started and finished this place already? What's going on?
No, not at all. Just about to strip the place. Builders are in next week and strip all the walls, strip the kitchens, strip the bathrooms, strip all the carpets out and get cracking.
So all of this is coming out? You're starting everything again?
We're starting everything again, yeah. So starting fresh.
No, Ross didn't mind the thought of getting his hands dirty. With a timescale of 3 months and a budget of 15 to 20,000, he was ready to get stuck in. So has he been able to stick to his plan? We're back 10 months later to find out. Ross was true to his word. Every part of the interior has been ripped out, redone and left bright and appealing. He really has brought new life back into this house. By doing the basics to a high standard, he's got this place in tip-top condition for the rental market. Ross was able to remove the partition wall, adding extra length to the new, regal-looking kitchen. And he was able to save a little money by keeping the sink in the downstairs WC, but he cleverly built housing around the bottom to tidy it up. Ross's timescale slipped by a few months, so what happened to his ambitious 3-month plan?
Initially, suggested it would be a 3-month period to do the full renovation. I've ended up taking about 8 months, generally due to material shortages in the industry and equally just being very busy with my commercial surveying work. So the timeline dragged out to about 8 months, which I'm completely happy with.
If the downstairs is anything to go by, then I'm sure the upstairs won't disappoint. What a difference. By going for a slimmer bath and toilet, the bathroom feels roomy, and the colour scheme is cool and modern. But what about his £15,000 to £20,000 budget? Has Ross stuck to it?
Probably spent about 23,000, so a little bit more than what was anticipated, but I've improved the quality of the spec. I've looked at the local sort of house prices and the rising market, so I was willing to sort of spend a little bit more, and I think I'll get a good return.
Well, I think the £3,000 extra is money well spent. Originally, Ross planned on this being a buy-to-let property. Is that still the plan?
The plan is to rent the property. I see it as a longer-term hold, an income stream, and at one point pass to the children.
Speaking of the children, how did they get on? Do we have any budding property enthusiasts?
Kids came in, hit some sticks on the walls, and that's about it, so no help at all.
Ah, never mind, Ross. I don't think you'll be putting your feet up for a while, then. In the cellar, nothing has changed here. But does Ross have any future plans to transform this space?
Not touch the cellars, so I think it's very useful storage dumping ground for any sort of tenants moving forward. But the investment potential in the in the future. I'll probably turn it into a cinema room if I was to flip the property in the future.
There were potential problems with this being a Grade 2 listed building. Has that caused Ross any hassle?
Grade 2 listing is at the front part of the property, so the facade of the property and also the windows in particular. So I've sort of left the facade of the property, which actually is why I purchased the property in the first place, but I've just sanded back the woodwork and given it a coat of paint.
On our first visit, there was talk of Ross buying the flying freehold a bit further down the line. Is that still part of the plan?
Decided not to do that at this moment in time just because I've allocated my funds to another property on the street. It's a 4 double bedroom, so it's a larger project, and then hopefully move on to a few more purchases.
We've invited along a property expert from the auction house who sold it to get his thoughts on the renovation.
So my first impressions are, when you actually physically come through the door, it's very nice, very appealing, tastefully decorated, and has been done to a very good quality standard.
What does he think the main selling points are?
So the layout is lovely. You've got 2 really nice, decent reception rooms, which bodes very well. The lounge is nice, good, decent size. The dining room is very functional, being close to your kitchen, and then off the kitchen is a lovely downstairs WC. So it's perfect for if you're entertaining, and it can really make good use of the downstairs space. Upstairs, typically for this type of cottage, you've got 2 good-sized, reasonable double bedrooms and a lovely bathroom. So it is lovely.
Ross has spent a total of $130,000. So what do the rental and resale figures look like?
So if I was to rent it out, I would suggest it's between £800 and £850 per calendar month. If I was to put it on the market for sale, I would suggest putting it on the market at £200,000.
That would mean a pre-tax profit of $70,000 or a rental yield of around 7.5%. Not bad for 8 months' work. But what does Ross think of those valuations?
Completely happy with the valuation, and from an investment perspective and return on my investment into this property, I'm very happy with that. It's a good valuation on the rental, but I've actually pushed my luck. I've placed it into the marketplace myself and I've secured more than that. So I think the estate agent needs to sharpen his pencil.
And what about his future plans?
I've just secured a local property on the same street. It's double the size, so I'm doubling up on my investment into my next property, and hopefully it will be as successful. And yes, I'd like to revisit the auction house in the near future.
We're back in Aylesbury and this mid-terraced house that had been converted into 2 one-bedroom flats. It was guided at $225,000 to $250,000, and despite the conversion, there were a few original features for Jacqui to drool over.
Look at this. This fireplace could be a rather grand feature.
But fitting a flat into the downstairs space had required some compromise to the ease of access.
This is a bit awkward. No, that's really awkward. My goodness, that hallway is narrow and dark.
By contrast, the upstairs flat was lighter, brighter and roomier.
If it were me, I know which flat I would want.
Keen on both flats was Conrad, who bought them at auction for $250,000. And he had a decision to make: keep it as is or reinstate it into a single dwelling.
Probably going to keep it as 2 separate flats just because it leaves the options a bit more. If I wanted to rent each one or if I wanted to sell each one, it leaves it open to do both, really.
He was planning on stripping back to brick and starting from scratch. But there was one very important proviso.
So get everything out.
Gut the whole place.
And then new in.
Yes.
Apart from the fireplaces.
Exactly, leave them. Nice feature.
Yes, please.
Conrad reckoned that a pretty comprehensive overhaul of both flats could be achieved for 25 grand and in just 6 weeks. How did he get on? 3 months later, we're back. Well, the beauty of a back-to-brick renovation is you can choose what to keep and what to discard. And Conrad's done exactly that. He's retained and refurbished the original doors and fireplaces, but everything else has been replaced. With a comprehensive scheme of building works, the flats have been rewired and replastered. With new flooring and neutral decoration throughout, the end result is fresh and modern. But what is he most pleased with in this project?
I'm most pleased with probably downstairs kitchen, just how big it is for a one-bedroom flat. It does open up the whole flat itself. So originally there was a hallway where it went on a bit further than it should have, so I cut down half of the wall just to open up the kitchen a bit. It makes it feel a lot bigger downstairs.
It's not always the case that developers will retain original features, but Conrad's obviously felt an affinity with this period property.
I think with an old house, when it's Victorian or Edwardian, you should still keep old features. I remember Jacqui mentioning at the beginning that she liked them as well, so I took her advice and got them reconditioned.
Jacqui will be very pleased you took her advice, Conrad. Were there any major challenges to overcome here?
We haven't had too many problems throughout it. It's more trying to find staff at the minute. I mean, every tradesman you speak to is very busy, but not too many issues at all. It's been OK. I'm not the most hands-on person. I've been more overseeing the project as opposed to getting involved since I'm still working full-time, so it's a bit difficult.
Did his difficulty getting hold of tradespeople affect his timescale?
So my original timescale was 6 weeks, but I believe we've just come on to the 8th week, so I've gone over a little bit, mainly just trying to get some good plumbers and good electricians in, but I managed to find the right team in the end.
And how did he manage with his budget?
I believe my original budget, when I first got the project, I said I was going to stick to 20 to 25,000, but I went over a little bit and spent 34,000 on it. Mainly because of the cost of materials. I didn't know, over the last 2 years, the price of materials has gone up a lot, so I didn't expect that. I'm not going to underestimate them in future and maybe put my budgets up a little bit higher.
With a total spend of 284,000, Conrad is unsure whether to sell or rent these two flats. Perhaps some valuations from the estate agent who viewed the property previously will help him decide. But first, does the agent approve of the changes?
I love the fact the fireplaces have been reinstated and brought back. The original doors upstairs all being stripped back off, and it's just got that nice feel of that Victorian era. Excellent property.
So how much does he think the two flats are worth?
I think the vendor's expectations realistically should be £180,000 for each individual flat.
I'm quite happy with the agent's valuations. I think they're fairly accurate, so I'm happy with the numbers.
A total sale value of £360,000 would give Conrad a pre-tax profit of £76,000. And interestingly, the agent reckons if Conrad had reinstated the property as a single 3-bed house, the value would have dropped by 30 grand.
I'm glad I didn't change it into a house just because of how much it would have cost. It would have probably eaten into the profits.
And will the rental figures prove any more tempting for Conrad?
My expectations for the vendor, if he was going to rent these properties, would be individually somewhere in the region of just over £800 per calendar month.
I'm very happy with the estimation on the rental. Yeah, he's very accurate with it and I'm happy with them.
An £800 rental income for each would give Conrad a 6.7% yield. Armed with all those figures, has he come to a decision?
I'm still undecided. I'll probably end up renting them, knowing me, but if the market's booming, then I'll probably sell the boat.
Join us next time to find out how more brave auction buyers get on.
Yes, we've got loads more stories where they came from. If you want more Homes Under the Hammer, before then, you know what to do. Press that red button and you can watch on BBC iPlayer. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, it's Stacey Dooley here and welcome to My Sound. As part of the BBC's 100th birthday celebration, I've put together this playlist to share some of my all-time fave tracks. It's brilliant, you're going to live your best life. Enjoy!